Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back again to the BTS EU series. We're going to be taking a look at game number 2 here between Prodota Gaming and Level Up. Some shenanigans went on in the last one. It was a little bit of a stomp that came about. Level Up decided to take the Sand King for themselves. Kunkka is also going to be banned out. Do you think this is the answer? Do you think this is the right solution for Level Up?
Well, we haven't seen Level Up actually run the Sand King yet, so it really depends on their level of familiarity with that hero in his respective roles. Most people are playing him as an off lane right now, but he is a traditional support, can support very well. We'll see how Prodota Gaming respond. They usually do get that Sand King, but recently they did have a loss against IKEA who did the exact same strategy. They picked the Sand King themselves. They banned out a signature hero. IKEA also had grabbed that Kunkka, so they basically ran the same strategy back against Prodota Gaming.
Man, I really loved seeing it last time, and for anybody that's just tuning in right now, it was a Sand King Kunkka offlane facing off against a Clinkz, Oracle, and Elder Titan, and you just had these easy setups for Torrents with a quick little burrow strike into Torrent and then right clicks. We saw Come With Me go for a Tidebringer Maxine build, which meant that he just had this ridiculous amount of damage early on, and it was really impressive seeing how much they were able to do in that offlane. It really made me think about maybe I want to try and play some Sand King a little bit later on. But ET and Batrider is going to be the answer. What are your thoughts here?
Batrider is an interesting choice here. It's a hero that most Chinese teams right now are quite in love with. There's a couple of Chinese teams. It's the only hero that they've picked more than once and across all of their games since TI. Elder Titan is interesting. Prodota Gaming don't have a huge play history with that hero, at least not recently, but I guess they figure if Level Up are going to take their heroes, then Prodota are going to take Level Up's heroes.
Oh no, I messed up. Sorry about this. I was just looking back through chat. I didn't mute myself after the thing, so everybody just heard me say that. Sorry about that. Well, that's fun. All right, professional broadcaster here.
Like a documentary, Lyrical.
Absolutely. Behind the scenes. You guys got the behind the scenes action of the wild world of Dota 2 casters. All right, well, Juggernaut's going to be the other answer for Level Up. We've seen him mid lane. We've seen him safe lane. Is there a place that you like him more, or is it very much matchup dependent?
It's very much matchup dependent. I think most players are probably more comfortable with him in the safe lane than in the mid lane, but he can be absolutely devastating there depending on whom his opponent is, right? Especially opponents that thrive on sitting back a healthy distance and doing slow damage over time. The Juggernaut is really effective at getting up in their face, standing on their high ground in that mid lane, and really just forcing them back even further. And I don't know if Level Up already have a conception of where they want that Juggernaut to go, or if they're kind of playing it by ear. Based on their performance last game, my inclination would be to just give it to whoever is most comfortable with it, rather than trying to be too fancy with the draft.
All right, well, and that's the nice way that the hero. I mean, you can be flexible with it, and that is something inherently with flexibility that causes issues, because, like you said, you can get a little bit too caught up in your own head, and then think, oh well, maybe we'll outplay them. We'll do the double counter strategy where they think we're going left and we go right. But yeah, hopefully they just stick to basics and try and put together a solid draft. So far, I mean, Sand King Juggernaut is great. They are going to take the Oracle now, another one of those heroes that it's not like wonderful against Jug. I guess Fate's Edict can cause some issues.
Right, it denies because they have the Batrider. The Prodota Gaming, Oracle's signature heroes as well. Like it's often a first pick for them, so they're very comfortable with it. It denies that counter to Level Up, and it's just a very basic grab what we're good with and don't let our opponents get hard counters. So now Level Up have maybe an Aya or a Vengeful Spirit, much more likely to come out if they want to counter out that Batrider, and we'll see how they want to approach that. They certainly don't have to grab a counter to that lasso, but once again, based on their communication patterns or their apparent communication patterns last game, it would be very good if they have one player who's just able to disengage fights. Otherwise, Prodota Gaming, if you give them an inch, they take a mile. So I'm going to grab a Dazzled. At least you've got the Grave there. The problem with that is it still allows the Batrider to pull you out of position as a team so that everybody dives in after the hero that gets lassoed. Level Up are a little prone to over diving into fights as well, so I do see that as a potential risk. Remaining. But you know, you have the heal, you do have the Grave to save against the Batrider, and if it is a Sand King Dazzle support combo, you do have a lot of jungle control and a decent amount of control in the safe lane. So,
you know, I'm just looking at this, and the elephant in the room, Mr. Huskar, who's going to take him? It definitely feels like it could be an option. You got Oracle and Dazzle in this game. Prodota Gaming, do you just take him here, or do you think about like, or maybe they can't really run AA either. Huskar. All right, there he is.
Yeah, they are going to pick him. I mean, you kind of have to, right? It fits the Oracle. It denies it to Level Up, and of course, Level Up have run the Huskar, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they've run him since they've assembled. So you know it's a real risk.
10 seconds remaining.
It fits your draft. Once again, it's just very, very on the nose, no frills drafting from Prodota Gaming. They're picking up heroes that they know how to play that would counter their team.
All right.
You know?
I do like this response, though. Invoker, I always feel like, has a pretty good look at dealing with Huskar. Obviously, Oracle can cause some issues because you can get a Fate's Edict off to cancel out a majority of his damage, but if Level Up finds some way to have like a really good Sunstrike combo like with Invoker, obviously Sand King Barrow Strike sort of there, but something else that's just a tremendous amount of pure damage that can burst through him right away. Is there anything that you're looking for out of either this last, I'm assuming it's going to be a last support from Level Up that would really help them here?
Remaining.
Yeah, well, the question is, once again, is that truly an off-lane Sand King, or are they comfortable running that as a support? If they're going to pick up another support, the AA would be the pick. Of course, Prodota Gaming, as I was going through that thought, did ban it out, right? In terms of other supports that they might pick up for Level Up, I'm trying to think what I've seen.
I guess
them
more
run
stuns?
lately.
Is that a thing that could really work well?
They could run a Shadow Demon.
Okay.
You know, you can get some heal bombs with the Dazzle. It's a hero that's fairly popular right now. You're able to slow that Huskar down a bit. Oh no, Shadow Demon's already banned out. First ban. Missed it. Otherwise, it would have been a decent pick. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Part of the issue is that they don't have a huge play history that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, they're still kind of finding their sea legs, so to speak, in terms of drafts.
Totally. And it's I mean, at this point, what's a support that deals well with Huskar? I mean, you need stuns, obviously, which they have to some extent. You need high physical damage. Maybe you could think about, like, is Omni Knight too weird here? Is that even an answer to Huskar, really?
I don't think that answers the problems that they have.
Okay.
So they have a fair amount of survivability already. What they're really lacking is in damage and control.
Okay.
So they either want to grab somebody that has a stun, or they want to grab somebody that has a decent damage output.
What about Ricky? Is that? Oh.
Ricky would be a decent pick. I mean, Ricky's generally pretty successful against Huskar. You know, they could pick up a bounty hunter here as well, potentially. But, you know, you might even just be better off grabbing that Vengeful Spirit. I don't think it was banned. They are going to get the Ricky. Okay. It's a pretty decent pick against Huskar. It's a great pick into the Batrider. You're able to shut him down completely if you get in. It's going to force out a fair amount of vision purchasing coming out of the Oracle. I'm not 100% sold on it because we've already seen that Level Up are a little prone to getting out of position, and a Ricky is just going to put that on steroids.
Oh, God. Oh,
what?
No. All right. Well, that's a damn pick. That's a rough one. Alchemist Huskar. Does it get much more frustrating than that? You know, I'm not going to lie to you. And we'll give another, since we gave behind the scenes earlier, I'll give another behind the scenes. When I was trying to figure out what Huskar would do, I literally went to Dota Buff and I just went to Hero Huskar, and Ricky was like the fourth counter. I don't want to believe that that's what happened as well for the drafting, but it's a possibility.
I mean, Ricky is decent against Huskar for, he's a known decent counter against Huskar for a variety of reasons. One of them is that you're able to kind of prevent him from getting farm around the map, as you're, unless he's carrying vision of some kind, you're able to kind of sneak up on him and grab stuff. He's not the best farmer in the world, Huskar, right? He really is very reliant on hero kills.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can slow down his creep and not allow him to safely grab jungle farm as well, then he's going to be forced to come into your team aggressively, which means that you can find moments to catch him out. In addition, you do have that smoke screen, which is not an amazing skill against Huskar, but it is really good at preventing Huskar from getting help, which is crucial. So the Ricky can jump onto an Oracle, can jump onto a Batrider or an Elder Titan, and prevent that hero from helping Huskar once he jumps too far into a fight. And that by itself, with decent communication, can be an absolute game-winning move.
Yeah.
So
here's another.
There are a couple of pluses.
Another little interesting thing. Ricky obviously went for the 2 sentries. Something that we have seen teams go for when it's been a Ricky combo is instead having the support pick up all of the other items, and then Ricky gets an early TP and goes out to the lane to try and be able to scout the wards being placed. And that can be early game winning. And against a Huskar draft, it does feel like that might have been an option, but instead, again, they sort of maybe playing a little bit more individualistic Emperor here, and the Dazzle, Mr. DNZ. So I don't know, it's something to think about as well in the future games. Early TPs, we've seen it become more and more prevalent in competitive.
Yeah, I mean, over the last 6-8 months too. This isn't this isn't like a sudden trend. This is definitely something pro teams, as the game has been patched increasingly to be team based in terms of success. Teams have been increasingly incentivized to think about ways to move around as a team and pool items as appropriate.
All right, sentries on Garter.
The battle
If he can steal it, even if he dies, I think it's kind of worth it. But Alchemist takes it. They don't manage to get a right click off on anybody, but he is still going to try and mess with this Alch in the mid lane.
That actually was a lot safer than I thought it was, because there was no dust. There was only a sentry ward, and since Ricky does have a tango, he'd been able to chop that down pretty quickly. Ricky wants this sentry ward. He's thinking about moving in, but he gets seen. And yeah, the Alchemist is going to drop a tango to pick it up.
Oh, lordy. All right, there we go. One drop down.
That's the only one, so this mid lane just got very, very difficult for this Alchemist. He's probably going to need rotations at some point.
He did get a little bit of bonus gold for that one.
Some action up top,
cool.
though.
Yeah, opponent's starting to drop a little bit low. Sand King in some trouble. 5 stacks of that Flaming Spears is doing a good bit of damage. He needs to be careful. It's only level 1, so he's going to be able to live through it. But man, it's a rough one indeed. And interestingly enough, Vincent, he's still getting a decent amount mid. He does need to be careful. What's the kill potential here? Is it a certain amount of levels on Invoker? Does he have to have that Quas up to get Cold Snap out first?
Yeah, I don't think they have any kill potential without at least Cold Snap. Alchemist is a pretty decently tanky hero. They are doing a good job of keeping him down, but he has a decent amount of regen as well. Ricky, at this stage in the game, doesn't have really any burst to speak of. So he can harass, and if he can keep the Alchemist down below like 300 health consistently, then maybe they've got kill potential with the Cold Snap. But outside of that, really the side lanes are what I would consider more dangerous.
Speaking of that, Biver might be able to help turn this one back around onto Pwn. There's the Caustic, and again, forcing him back out of lane. Only 2 tangos left for regen. It's going to be a little bit of a rough going. And down bottom, they just keep the pressure on with the Kefka Come With Me dual lane that showed just a ton of dominance in the previous game number 1.
Yeah, it's not quite as dramatic a combination, but getting the stomp off and then getting out some stacks of sticky napalm as you chase over is a pretty effective laning tool to zone out of melee especially. So Wagamama is getting decent farm here. He's keeping up with his mid. He's staying a little bit ahead of the Huskar, but he does need to be careful as this sticky napalm gets leveled up. Come With Me is actually going to kill himself and go in. Almost got killed by the tassel there, though.
Oh, that would have been really nice.
That would have been hilarious. Now, with the Dazzle rotating towards the mid lane, though, Alchemist is potentially killable.
They don't have much vision over here on this side either, so they're not going to be able to spot this out. I've played this matchup a lot in the last couple of days. Everybody picks Alchemist in pubs, and as Invoker, I do really like the Bassi buildup. It's so frustrating just having to stand there in the acid spray with the physical damage going at you. Now it's trying to go on to Pinvincent. Might be able to find something else here. They get the turnaround, though. They do have a Sentry Ward dropped as well. Emperor might be in some trouble. First Blood goes in the top lane. Unfortunately, they missed that one. They don't find a kill mid.
There was Burning Spears. There was Sand King. Oh,
lordy.
With a Sunstrike.
Oh my god, I'm the worst. All right, well, nicely played. Down in the bottom side, it looks like Kefka's going to try and keep the pressure on. These global spells, they make me upset.
Yeah, I mean, that's a trade that you're willing to make if you're done. Right, you got a kill. Your opponent got the kill, but wasn't around for the experience. There was no AoE gold going out to the team as well. Meanwhile, Beaver did get some AoE gold and was helped out here a little bit. Because of that pure damage from the Sunstrike, the Invoker is a pretty decent response to the Huskar. But if Garter does keep an awareness of that about him, it will be increasingly difficult to land those kills as the game goes on. Pone may find himself in trouble.
A long windup of Fortune's End, and the right clicks are going to come through. Burrow Strike is there as well. Sunstrike, not currently enough mana for it, and it looks like Pone is going to actually deny himself to neutrals. Nicely played there. Caustic slowing down the Huskar. He does have enough mana for Sunstrike in just a little bit. Can he find his target? He's going to be looking for it. There's the Inner Vitality. Sunstrike coming through. Not quite enough. There's the Emperor, though. Ricky shows up, cleans up the garbage. Nicely played.
Yeah, very, very good. They're going to try to move on Emperor. They do have Dust. They should be able to get him here. Oh, Beaver doesn't actually have enough mana for the Fortune's End. There's going to be double stun.
And this is what we were missing last game. We talked about it. It was never really an issue. As Come With Me does have one more Astral and manages to hit it onto Emperor, but not going to be able to find the kill. It's not an issue of problems with individual skill. It was much more just the synergy, and this is working. They find the kill onto the Oracle in return. Pone might have overextended slightly, though.
I think he'll probably be fine. They don't want to chase in too deep because they know the Ricky's around. Granted, he's very low, but also with another potential Sunstrike coming in, they just really can't justify going in too deep unless they know they'll get a kill out of it. And yeah, this is a draft I like much better for Level Up, right? It's a lot of heroes that can synergize on pretty basic levels. They do decent jobs countering out individual aspects of their opponents. But a lot of this is individual skill based, right? Individual skill on Sunstrike, just kind of blind shotting them. Individual skill trying to make playmaking happen on the Ricky. There is communication there, but a lot of it is the Ricky moving in and trying to find opportunities kind of independently of what his allies are doing and applying pressure.
Ooh,
I do
Omni,
like,
bottom lane, Kefka getting gone upon. Oh, he's going to be able to head off the other direction. Yeah, very solid there. So they don't find the kill with the with the Blade Fury, but they do have another Sunstrike if they want to try and go for it on this Bat Rider. He is going to. Ooh. Scary stuff.
That's the first miss, I think, of the game, though. You do need to be very careful with Cole Sunstrikes. He's on the mark.
Definitely. Well, and I've been liking what we've been seeing. The other thing we didn't talk about a ton, Forge Spirits are pretty great against Huskar as well. You get a Cold Snap Forge Spirit combo. He's not going to be able to do almost anything. And now turning on to this, Alchemist might be in some trouble, might try and kill off the Courier as well. They're going to instead just go straight for the Alch. He is going to fall there. Sand King picks up the kill. Suddenly 4 heroes mid. That's what they need to do. They're making it happen.
Very nice rotations here coming out of Level Up. They are coordinating quite a bit better. They didn't get caught out in the early laning stage as well, which was a big part of how things fell apart from them last time. And it really doesn't feel like Prodota Gaming are as comfortable with their heroes, right? Come With Me hasn't been able to make the plays like he had been able to last time with the Kunkka. The problem is Prodota Gaming aren't quite to the stage where they should be controlling the game yet. Alchemist doesn't have an item, although arguably maybe this is the period in time where he really should be getting an item. Kunkka doesn't have his armlet yet. Once they get those out, they could really swing this around.
All right, the wraparound is there again. They do dodge out the stomp, and it looks like almost able to find that Alch. If they can keep shutting him down, this is definitely what they need to do. But it looks like, at least for now, the rotation mid is not going to bear fruit. And bottom lane, they keep the farm fest going.
Yeah, and same for top lane, though, for Garter, who is sitting only 3 last hits behind the Invoker mid, sitting 7 behind the Juggernaut, so he's not very far behind, and he does have the kill. Granted, he has now died twice. They're going to try to move on him. I think this is a good call. If they can get the smoke here and the Blink Strike, they very well could.
Well, Sunstrike available as well. He jukes. Oh, man, and now they're in some trouble. Nice Blink Strike away. They do back out from there. Yeah, they did.
I was just going to say, that was a really nice play from Garter. He got just outside of the danger zone where he's probably going to be safe. Turned around to feign a fight to try and bait the Sunstrike out, and the Sunstrike came exactly where he was. After one auto attack, Garter just turned back around and continued to run, knowing that Sunstrike was spent. Like, that is a really, really heads-up play.
Bottom lane, because he had to cancel his animation like 4 times by getting fogged, and so Juggernaut kept saying, "Can I cut in? Can I cut in?" And then it kept getting cut off there. That was awesome. I've never seen that before. Well, they do manage to find the kill on the Batrider, so a lot of things happening here. I feel like this is a much better executed game by Level Up. They're doing everything they need to.
Yeah, I mean, they're in good position. Emperor is scouting out, so he knows that Alchemist is getting this. We do have a couple of armlets about to come out here for Prodota Gaming, and like I said, that could be a moment of importance, especially since the Invoker, as an Exhort-styled Invoker, is Hanamitis first. So he's not actually combat ready, necessarily, right? He needs some time for that investment to pay off. If Prodota Gaming gets some items up, they could actually be better suited for combat here, despite the fact that Level Up are pretty far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's definitely worth thinking about, is like, at the end of the day, it is still Alchemist Huskar, which is just a pain in the ass to deal with, and we do see that they're going to try and keep their eyes on the Alchemist here. He just throws out 1 acid spray. He's going to rotate in towards the mid lane. ET is there as well, and it looks like they are going to actually be able to get the silence onto. Oh, really good play there. Emperor interrupts the stomp, and they do manage to find that kill on the ET. It's not the Alk, but not bad either.
Yeah, and it's very difficult for a Huskar in this position as well for Garter. Like, the Ricky's been doing a really good job of shutting down the teammates around him. He doesn't have a lot of safety. Huskar is a hero that can go out and get kills kind of by himself if he's way ahead. But if his team is starting to fall behind and feeding into his opponents, he really needs a good deal of support from his allies. Once again, just like the Clinks from last game, this is not a hero that can flash farm creeps. He has to be farming out hero kills.
This is a very strange set of affairs. Ricky comes in with the Dazzle. They're going to place some wards which block out the camp, but like that was well within vision of this Alchemist, and it's like, what is happening? They spot out that Dazzle heal bombs. They know that Ricky is here. They've got to be careful. If they just happen to walk back into sentry range, it's going to be an easy kill. Dazzle now, I'm not sure what this warding mission is. It's going to catch both of them, and I think that they're both going to die. Oh, God. That was not the play. Emperor now going to get gone upon, and that's going to be another kill going their direction. Very weird decision-making going on. I'm not sure what that was.
The goal may have been to just kind of force this sort of chase in the jungle, where the Dazzle and the Ricky were expecting the Alchemist to kind of chase them off, and then they could steal a bunch of his time by, giggling as they run through the forest, giving Juggernaut a ton of time to farm, like 40 seconds for the Juggernaut Invoker to farm without the Alchemist or the Batrider really giving them any trouble. I don't think that they expected the rotation from the north, and as soon as he came up those stairs, that Dazzle realized the mistake that they had made.
And that to me just feels like a really solid play by Prodota. It's you realize you can punish this over-aggression. Meanwhile, Sand King not going to get caught. So he does just go into Sandstorm mode. It feels like they always are responding correctly as a team. Whatever it is that's going on with the shot calling, I've been really impressed. Garter, meanwhile, is going to get jumped upon. Oh, they don't manage to bring him down, though. I think he's just going to be able to live through all of this. Oracle ulti comes in. He's going to have the heals there. Can they find the kill? No! The armlet toggle! Oh, Huskar. Oh... What a hero.
This is exactly what I was talking about a minute ago, when I said as soon as those armlets come out, it's very possible Prodota Gaming are going to be better able to combat. Alchemist and Huskar at this stage in the game, especially if the Alchemist has a pretty decent level of farm, are just better at fighting. Wagamama's going for a Battle Fury first, so he has no actionable damage. There's no damage on the Invoker. They're using their basic hero kits, and because of that, they can't really take fights. I think that they realize that they're ahead, but I don't think their calculus has included how much better their opponent's heroes are at this stage in the game.
Yeah, it's a rough one. And I think that they're showing that they want to try and go into the late game with their lineup. It's worth noting it was a last pick Alchemist, and I think that you kind of have to reevaluate your strategy at that point, because it does really become hard for them to go super late game against it. I think that all the item choices are fine and stuff, but it really does sort of, I guess, come down to trying to slow down their farm whenever possible. Maybe that means making concerted efforts into the enemy jungle again as like a big group to try and take them down. But they can't just allow the free farm to continue from the out.
Yeah, I mean, he's on pace to get a 1645 Radiance, right around there. If they don't move in here and slow him down in any way, and the last time they tried to move in and slow him down, they just sped up their opponent's farm. There is a pretty decent stack here for the Alchemist that Beaver is getting to be triple at this point. And because Level Up's build decisions and drafting decisions should kind of force them into this more late game oriented design, they don't really have a response. Like, they can't go into their opponent's jungle for this, and Cole has to be careful, or he might find himself caught out.
Oh, all right. Tornado lifts up the Huskar again. They do still have Emperor. He took the dust on him still, so he is going to eventually fall here. But that was in the process of trying to save his Invoker. So I'm pretty okay with that movement in. He helps out his buddy who did get the Earth Splitter dropped on him. And yeah, they're going to end up looking okay. A very scary game right now if you're Level Up.
Yeah, this is something that you could kind of see coming, but it's not something that Level Up really had any ability to respond to be quite honest. They could maybe possibly have gone with the Sand King and the Ricky to roam out, but really if they're going to do that roaming, they either have to be able to see the Oracle, which Prodota Gaming have been doing a very good job of keeping the Oracle in Fog of War, or they need to move on the Oracle. One of those two things is true, because if you don't know where the Oracle is, what ends up happening is what happened in the top lane, where those two heroes move out, try to get a kill on the Huskar, the Oracle comes out, saves his life, right? So it's just really difficult for Level Up to find a viable target at this stage, considering only two of their heroes are really ready to stand and fight. The Invoker contributes a ton in fights in terms of damage from the Sunstrike and stuff, but he can't actually like stand in the fight and be a force. Yeah. At least not yet.
No, definitely. He's got a couple of things that make him that slight bit tankier, but very much. I remember I was talking with Garrett about this, and he was telling me that because he's teaching me how to play Invoker in my own little whimsical way, and he was saying that like basically until I don't know, like you have an Aghanims, basically you're a Sunstrike machine, and that's about it. And you push lanes besides that, and it's something where you have to make things happen with the rest of your team, which to me feels like it falls on the shoulder of the Sand King, who does almost have his Blink Dagger completed.
Yeah, once he has that Blink Dagger completed, that'll be the first combat item or initiation item on his team for Level Up. Despite the fact that the early game was really good for them, they don't have any way to start these fights. And they're just continuously losing control. Now, the nice thing is, if they can stop the bleeding here, if they can just prevent themselves from ceding any more ground to Prodota Gaming by taking it easy a little bit until they have the base items that they need, then they should be able to come back with a vengeance here through the more mid portions of the game at around 23 to 25 minutes. All they need to do is stop the Alchemist from farming, just kind of apply some pressure onto him and get the core items that they need up.
Yeah. Oh, but likewise, if that doesn't happen, if like we don't see that concerted effort into the enemy jungle to shut down the farming, it is just going to rapidly get out of control. And we can see that the bottom tier 1 is going to start to be pushed in by the Radiant. This tower should fall. I think that Prodota Gaming are perfectly fine with this. Space created. Alchemist is about to have his Radiance completed. It's flown out to him right now. And
I said 1645. I'm hoping it's the right second.
Oh, make it happen.
That's 5 seconds, Courier. Make it. Use the speed boost. Do it.
Oh, go! Get there. 40.
Oh.
trash analyst, worst. I'm just
I
kidding.
know, 2 seconds off.
Bottom lane, they find the kill on the Juggernaut, and they do manage to take down that healing ward. Gonna head back home, and they lose their Juggernaut, but they do a significant amount of damage to the tier 2.
Yeah, this is kind of a rough place to be if you're level up, in that they don't really want to give space to Prodota Gaming, but they aren't the team that initiates, right? They're really much better at counter initiating with the Ricky and with the Grave. So they can't seed map control without doing any sort of fighting, but they, especially with this Radiance out now, they don't really have a good option in terms of engaging into these fights. I'm not really sure how they do it, barring just an amazing Sand King 5-man burrow strike into a good Sunstrike or something like that.
Oh, this could be a problem. They might send some TPs in just a second or two. Well, okay, no, Kefka's just going to reveal himself. This actually might be a kill. Might have overstepped his bounds slightly. They have the silence. Cold Snap not used as of yet. Invoke still on cooldown. Don't need it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy for Cole, and it looks like they're going to push tier 2 as well.
Yeah, this is a good call, right? They're either way, they're going to seed that bottom. They're not going to take that fight. At least this way, they're getting an exchange for it, right? They got the Bat Rider. They'll probably get this tower, as long as they don't give up this tier 3. So they need to hurry up or TP back. It looks like they're going to leave the Invoker here. He's got another drum charge that he can spend if he needs to get this tower.
The other thing that we didn't talk about a ton, but we saw it in play as they were heading out from the Aegis is, oh, all right, jump forward, found Pone. He is going to get Grave, but still taking a good amount of damage. 3 stacks now, and he is going to die. They don't have the follow-up. All right, can they hit the Sunstrike onto Garter? He is armlet toggling, still alive for the moment. It doesn't look like they're going to go for it as of yet. Sunstrike, oh, he jukes it out. Now he doesn't have to worry about anything at all, basically. The Alchemist is going to hit the tier 3, and Waga can only look on in dismay. No Sand King, no initiation.
Yeah, there's going to be the smoke, but I mean, Garter has Aegis, so
all right, buyback. They're looking for it. They haven't brought down Garter yet. They jump for it. They find the kill. Oh, Waga's gone now too. He has to buy back, trying to TP into the midst of this fight. They get the Oracle heal coming back out. He's going to be alive through all of this, back up to full HP. What a hero. They are going to pull back in now. Cole Invoker is going to go down. This could be 3 buybacks. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to stop it. Radiance online, game might be over.
Yeah, this is, you know, we basically outlined how this game was going to go, what, like 10, 12 minutes ago? There's not a lot of options for level up unless they're able to just absolutely demolish the lanes. They got a 6-1 lead. It wasn't enough. They needed slightly better teamwork and initiation through the end of the laning phase in terms of finding picks and being able to knock out jungle camps. And the very strange counter warding and warding act that we saw, that you had been kind of harping on earlier, is very much, I think, the moment where level up ceded the rest of their advantage, and it was just a matter of time for the game state to catch up to what was happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the game isn't over. It might have been a little bit hyperbolic talking about that as the tier 1 towers are still up in the mid and top lane. But honestly, it doesn't really feel like right now, level up have to just like make as much space as they possibly can, try and take a team fight on their own. I don't know, it's still scary, like going outside, the Aegis is down, so maybe it's worth trying to take a fight, but what are your thoughts?
I think that you just take any trades you can get here. So tower for tower, give up your tier 1, take this tier 2. It looks like what they're planning on doing. I think that's the right call. Remember that the Juggernaut went for the Battle Fury build. He did not go in for a combat build. And because of that, they really don't have the damage to take fights unless Prodota Gaming just really screw up their positioning. So at least this way, when they are seeding some resources, they can take some resources back. Once level up do get that next level of item, that next tier, so the Diffusal Blade up on the Ricky, the Manta up on the Juggernaut, that's maybe when, and of course the Ags up on the Invoker, that's maybe when they're able to turn this game around. The question is, will they get there? And towers will help them at least
Radiant's top tower
get
is under
something
attack.
out of this.
Yeah, and this is about the best that you can hope for. Like you were saying, they're going to be able to take down that mid tier 2. If they can somehow manage to hold the barracks here, they're in an okay spot. But you can see the Bat Rider over on the side, ready to jump in. Actually doesn't even have his drums up and online, but I think Level Up realized this is going on. They do have Epicenter with the Burrow Strike if they want to go for it. Does Kefka opt to jump? Need to be careful. They have this really deep Observer Ward placed down behind enemy lines. They are going to be able to jump forward. Oh, they didn't break the Epicenter with the Flame Break. Not quite online. Come With Me is also getting gone upon by the Ricky. Can't throw out the Stomp as of yet. They do manage to bring down 2. Alchemist is dead. Now Cole getting jumped upon. He does go into Ghost Walk mode. 3 stacks of Burning Spears. I think he's going to live through that. Meanwhile, Wagamama already using the Ami Slash. They are going to be able to break out that secondary Stomp. Can they kill Garter, though? Drop the Cloud for the missed chance, but I think that he can just keep going. He jumps onto the Jug, and Jug just has to kind of man up. Well, Sunstrike coming in. There it is. That's the kill. Ricky is the one that ends up taking it. But they hold their ranged barracks at the very least.
Okay, that's that Diffusal Blade up. That's that Ags up. I'm going to... Yep, that's also going to at least be the Yasha up if Wagamama wants it. So... I mean, that doesn't win the game for Level Up, but at least gives them some tools to handle what's happening, right? They do have the splash damage coming out of the Juggernaut in order to deal with the Megas and Supers that are coming in. But they need to keep themselves from getting overly confident here. They are still playing from behind, fairly significantly.
Well, they might have found the Oracle. If they can turn this into a secondary kill here, this would be huge. Jump forward by the Ricky, uses one of the Diffusal charges, and they find that kill. So... all right, things are working. Things are happening.
Yeah. And because Level Up did, instead of doing this superfluous and probably ill-informed fight that they may have done in the first draft, they did focus on trading objectives instead. They can actually apply a decent amount of pressure onto the map while their opponents are kind of spread out.
Secret Shop is going to be the killing Brown. Invoker kills off the Alchemist. They're putting these together. This is starting to become a bit of a scary spot for Prodota.
Yeah, Huskar's not really great in a situation where he starts to cede advantage. He needs to maintain advantage. As soon as his opponents start to catch up, Huskar really tends to have trouble. He gets disabled, he gets kited, he just ends up taking too much damage. I am a little concerned that Prodota Gaming gave up what really should have been a fairly easy win on that high ground. Into a very contestable game. I'm not entirely sure who's going to be able to take this. I think Prodota do still have an advantage, but it's a very small advantage.
You know, to me, and obviously you can't level this down to just like one individual play, but I feel like if Kefka gets that Flame Break to interrupt the Epicenter coming out from the Sand King, they just win that fight hands down. There's a lot of different opportunities there, but I think that there was just maybe a little bit of miscommunication, trying to sort of min-max it to the best of their abilities. He also potentially could have just jumped in and caught the Flaming Lasso, but either way, it does end up, you know, being the fight that goes back the other direction. He's going to make up for it more than a bit now by catching out that Dazzle. Another kill, and now they might finally be able to do this. Invoker is starting to get scary, but he only has the 2 points in Wex, so his big AoE combos might not be enough yet.
Yeah, this is... I mean, this is the last moment. If they're able to hold this and not lose racks here, then they'll probably have enough net worth advantage to slowly eke out a win as long as they don't overextend, right? If they're unable to hold here, they could... I mean, they'll probably lose the game flat out. So... it's a very tense moment. You know, there aren't buybacks available. There's a buyback available for the Invoker, and that is it. At least for Level Up.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, you see this, you know, he does have the level 16 also, which is, like, critical, because he can throw out a lot of these spells at once. As we do find maybe a bit of a fight in the jungle. They don't actually have vision there. Burrow Strike comes through. They do have Kefka in the area as well. Ricky, meanwhile, does have another cloud that he can drop if he wants to. Jumps off to the other side. Kefka, come with me. Are going to be alive. He takes the dust off of himself with the Diffusal Blade. But the gem, yeah, it's on Ricky. So they're going to be fine.
Okay. I mean, a little bit of a tussle here. It's just Prodota Gaming trying to wait out for Roche, and Roche is up now, so... You know, in terms of who wins that engagement, Prodota Gaming wins it pretty hands down. They force Level Up back, so that Level Up are not able to contest this Roshan, despite the fact that they do have a pretty good Rosh fighting lineup right now. What with the you know, the Burrow Strike, with the Epicenter going on, they do have a decent level for the Tornado, at least for control, and they can drop down that Weave as well.
I love this pickup by the Huskar too, just real quickly. The MKB to deal with the Cloud, really good stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely stellar, right? I mean, that's one of the major reasons that this Ricky, through the mid game and late game, is such a good counter on Huskar, just that miss chance. In the early game, it doesn't really matter as much. We saw some of the other reasons that Ricky is good against the Huskar then. But you do have to wonder, how much was that Ricky impacting Garter? Is the Monkey King Bar the best use of that farm, right? Because we're probably going to start seeing an issue where Garter is getting kited out in these fights if this game lasts much longer. And having the Monkey King Bar is not going to help in that.
Oh, this play right here, killing off the creep waves with the Alchemist Illusions. They do manage to finally bring them down. And Alk does not yet have the Octarine online, which would just make that out spam so much more difficult to deal with. Worth noting, Invoker is left at home on his own devices to try and clear out these creep waves. And it can turn into a bit of a push through this top lane if they wanted to, but looks like they're going to back out now. Sand King Ags. Cool.
All right. I mean, in terms of control, they kind of need it, right? They don't have any other hero that's providing control other than a little bit, arguably, from the smoke screen diffusal combo out of the ring. I'm not entirely sold that Pwn had the farm to make that work, and now he's just going to flat out die. So ends up we won't see what would have been 54 seconds, no buyback.
God, that could just be game. They find it. Tornado thrown out. I mean, they do have the Wagmama Omni Slash goes in. Biver is going to die to that Sunstrike, but I think that they're going to lose the Jug in turn. They have buyback on him, so they've been able to take down two. Oh, Ricky's gone as well. That was the gem. Now DNZ in trouble, forced to use the Grave on himself. Nice Ice Wall, going to keep control over the Alchemist for the moment. Wagmama is back here. The Juggernaut, big, bad, and in control. It looks like they are going to back out for the moment at least, and this is going to make time for Sand King to come in.
Yeah, that buys a little bit of time for Prodota Gaming, right? Because as their opponents get farmed, their opponents should be able to even out in this game fairly substantially. And then it becomes a much more difficult uphill fight for Prodota Gaming. If they do force out some buybacks and they do still have control, they still do have the Aegis as well. They're just waiting for the Oracle to come back up and then they can try it again.
Well, here we go. That is going to be the one downside to this is it does mean the gem, I believe, has transferred over onto the side of Prodota. Yeah, Batrider has it. So that does also cause some issues, as it looks like mid lane Huskar is getting scouted. They might actually just go on this. Can they find the kill? Oh, the Burrow Strike! It goes at the same time as Leap was going out there. Now they turn back around. Is going to be able to burn through the Aegis at least the first time. I think that Invoker's Gonzo, though. He's out of there. Does have buyback. Might need to use it. Burrow Strike on it, too. Doing a lot of damage. Coming back into the midst of this fight. Is going to be able to get the kill. Sunstrike come through. That's Huskar dead for 60. Can they take this fight any further? Wagamama does have Omni Slash in 20 seconds, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, great Ice Wall, keeping Ping Bingsit stuck in the spot. They might be able to control him and bring him down now. Sand King Burrow Strike in 2. Can they find the kill? They need to catch back up. Omni Slash is only 10 seconds away, but they might be able to bring him down even without it. There's the kill. 4 gone in the mid lane, and Prodota are in trouble.
Yeah. So you gotta wonder there, right? Do Prodota Gaming lose that fight if the Huskar bought a Black King Bar instead of a Monkey King Bar?
Yeah.
Right, because basically he just got controlled and kited in that fight exactly how... I mean, that is textbook knocking a Huskar out of the game. They just kind of moved around in a pentagon around him. Everybody who was getting attacked backed up while the rest of their team kind of swelled in, and they used all of their stuns. Prodota Gaming weren't able to get any assistance in, really, through that aggressive wall. Just really nice positioning coming out of Level Up. Now that doesn't win the game for Level Up by any stretch of the imagination, but
oh lordy. Well, he does have Omni Slash, and he can just go for the TP out now, so that's something going back his way. They managed to get away from that one.
Garter almost timed his ultimate right to end up in Wagamama's.
Yo, did he really hit another Sunstrike like that? Invoker is just all over the place with these. He's making it work.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for this guy. Cole has really great map awareness. He is a very experienced player on this hero. And we've seen from the very beginning of the game the impact that he can have.
All right, so there's still a lot of, I mean, definitely I would agree with you. The game is by no means won. You can see that it's still a 5,000 net worth lead into the favor of Prodota. Experience has definitely shifted over into the favor of Level Up. And the big problem at the end of the day is that you do still have 2 racks down, 2 lanes of racks down, and just this tier 3 tower. I mean, is there any way that they can sort of mount an attack? Do they have to wait for the next Roche Level Up and come and try and contest that now?
I think they just need to wait for Prodota Gaming to get into a bad position, like they did before, right? They are, as you mentioned, fairly far ahead in terms of the experience. They're not that, they're obvious, well, they are behind in terms of net worth, but there's an Alchemist in the game, right? So in terms of how that farm is looking without Greevil's Greed, they're probably ahead in net worth. And that Alchemist, one of the problems with the hero is that his base kit isn't that great. It's his net worth that makes him a very strong. Basically, all he has in terms of good base kit is decent HP. Oh, Emperor's dead.
That's tanking the gank. It is the gem down.
Lost the gem. Okay, that's a pretty serious issue for Level Up.
Did they pick it up? I think they did, right? I'm sure they did. Yeah. Oracle has it. Well, we'll see if they can deal with it. I was casting a game just recently in MDO where they had 2 gems going into a team fight, and then they ended up losing both of them and then losing the game. But we'll see if that similar type of thing happens here. No Ricky in this fight, but they do have Omni Slash and a whole host of abilities coming out from the Invoker if they want to go for it. Pwn jumps back.
They do, once again, just need to find a decent position where Garter is out. There is no Aegis on him. They could kill him, especially if they do manage to grab that Alchemist as well. But for Prodota Gaming, it's all about just getting this rack. If they get him, basically
Burrow caught. There's the Omni onto him. Oh, the Oracle gets the heals, though. It's still a lot of damage. I think that he is actually going to die here now, though. They do manage to bring down, I think, the Huskar. Okay, yeah, he's gonzo. But they don't have buyback on the Jug, and now big creeps are in their base. You got the Alchemist hitting your racks. They throw out the Burrow Strike, just trying to keep them back with whatever possibility they have. There's the Tornado that goes through, connects onto 2. They have been able to bring down low Kefka, but he's not dead yet. Still 180 HP. They jump back in now. Garter bought back. He's going to start going at the barracks, and GG gets called. Prodota win game 2. It wasn't as clean as game number 1, but they still did their work.
Yeah, I will say that Level Up did a pretty good job of recovering that game. They really shouldn't have been given that much opportunity. This probably could have been a cleaner victory, but Prodota did very well in the laning phase. They stabilized out in the end quite successfully. Looking forward to seeing both of these rosters kind of move through the European ranks and hopefully sometime kind of peek out into that more inter-regional stage.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody, so much for joining us on this wild ride of a BTS EU series. The final game of the day, Prodota Gaming are able to take a 2-0 victory over Level Up. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by the Wonder Cow. Feel free to give us any criticism, feedback, anything at all. We'd love to hear your voice, talk about what we can do to improve our casts, but more importantly, keep on following this. Any final thoughts about these two teams in general? I was pretty impressed by Prodota Gaming. They have a lot of the pitfalls that you see out of sort of the Tier 2 Europe scene where they kind of overextend a little bit, but I don't know. What's your thoughts here?
I thought that their drafts were very well conceived for their team. This is a team that has been doing well in the, as you say, Tier 2 or the regional European play. I'm looking forward to seeing more of them, as they have been decently stable in addition. It's one of those teams that you don't necessarily expect to pop up into that premier event level, but you can see some potential if they really work on their communication and they really work on their technical skill. They could certainly grow to be at that point.
Well, we'll see how they end up doing. Level Up, I would say that they played much better in game number 2 than they did in game number 1 also. To me, somebody told me that they wanted to see the stats while we're talking